Hi, 'tis I. You may hear a few fireworks going on. Because it is bonfire night in Glasgow and they like a firework. I'm telling you that for nothing. Oh my god, it has been non-stop since, well, I'd like to say since, sorry, I'm getting all cuddly with a blanket and stuff because, I'm just like that. Hey, it's very nearing winter in Glasgow. It's a bit cold. Actually, it's not bad. Oh god, I'm waffling already. Okay, you hear fireworks because they love them. And I was going to say that, I'd like to say that they have only been going since nightfall and since sunset, but no. There have been fireworks going off all through the day since this afternoon when it was actually very light and sunny. I'm seeing some right now, like right out the window. I have a great view of one's going off. Anyway, I watched the I shall try and say this in the proper French. I watched the Ramon Depardon interview earlier this evening, which was really fascinating. I mean, you had to be patient. It took time. Sorry, one moment. Sorry about that. You had to be patient. It took time because someone was translating from the French. One moment. Sorry about those interruptions. I'm sure they seem far briefer to you than they do to me. Mere nanoseconds. And there I was thinking the fireworks were just going to be the distraction and the interruption. Right. Okay, where was I? Ramon Diabado. And the interview. Yes, so it meandered a bit because everything was being translated from French. Well, for us who don't know French very well, we were on the English translate audio that was coming in through. But it was lovely. He was very talkative. And just, he did explain that he went into, which was good, nice to hear that it wasn't just like, wow, your photos about Glasgow. We concentrated, the interview was concentrated on that, but it was about how he come about getting to that. So, his photographic career up to that point and the things he'd been doing in that. So, right. Sorry. See, I wanted to type this out. But this is the thing that keeps on happening, right? Either one, I just then sit here on my bed because there's nowhere else really to sit other than the dining table in the living room down the stairs, which is still not set up great. I mean, it's set up great for eating, but it's not set up great for, I use my iPad mini to compose things, and the table and the chair are not in the greatest of ratios, and my arms start to hurt after a while because my hands are kind of like up here typing away. It's not, it's not a comfortable place. This is not a comfortable place. After a while, it absolutely kills my back to sit here because it's such a low bed and I'm hunching forward and just put my back out there just doing that. So I just think, oh, for comfort's sake, for speed, for really not articulation, because I'm crap like this. Like, I just end up waffling on, get way beyond the subject and off the beaten track and everything. But for the sake of just the discomfort of trying to have the thing on my lap here, like, I point it down, but you don't need to see it. Hey, my lap's down here, right? But, and then I'm so low down on this bed, the iPad mini is still not in a comfortable place on my lap. A more comfortable place than it is on the dining table. But, you know, and also it's later in the evening. It's usually the morning when the inspiration comes and the thing, and the, you know, that's when I can just go, right, I've got something in my head, type it out, let's get it down and done. Whereas, you know, here there's other by this time there's other distractions. I'm going to Facebook, I'm doing the, yeah, anyway, so I thought I'd just do this, but bear with me. Right, so yesterday when I did the post about this interview, and I'm seeing really beautiful fireworks going off all the time as well, like really big ones now, like those real, like, ones, like not just, you know. Oh my god, they're lovely now. There's some enough really lovely ones. And fireworks. Sorry, I had to put that in. Shit. Honestly, 6.5, nearly 7 minutes in, and it's waffled like this. Yesterday, the post that I did about the interview coming up, and then the video of them brushing upon the photographers that have done the kind of photographic archive pictorial history of Glasgow over the last 150 so years, right, was done by, I think it was narrated by him, I think. Well, actually, I'm sure it was, because his stuff featured at the end. Chris Leslie. Right. So, as I'm going, oh, this is really lovely, I'm sure Jim has, you know, there's me in my head, like, composing the thing is saying, well, I'm sure Jim has a copy of Depidon's book. And so I went and gone, I went and gone, what the I went to Facebook, to the Simple Minds page, to have a look to see if I could find the picture that I remembered in my head, that there was a picture of what I assume is his house, and there is a copy of the book on the shelf. So I found that, but on the way through finding that, which the easiest way, because of the way Facebook has changed and how much of a fucking arse it is these days, to do search and find things like visitor walls that have maybe become redundant. Don't know why we would want to find visitor walls now, because nothing ever happens there. I'm just saying. Yeah. Sorry about that. Watch the fireworks. It was gonna be just a complete... Right. So, as I'm going along with the photos down, because the easiest way to search for something on the Simple Minds Facebook page these days is just, especially if you think of a photo, go to the photos. Easiest way to search is just to look through the list of photos, and then you get to the post much quicker than just scrolling along the timeline and hoping that, you know, a post from 3 years ago is gonna eventually reveal itself after you've scrolled and scrolled and scrolled and scrolled for about 10 minutes, right? So I find the picture, obviously, because, you know, I hope you've seen the post. But on the way along, I saw a photo that I went, hey. Now, back in January, and when this was posted, I just assumed it was an image of the Tory Glen flats. You know, just an image that he must have found out on the web somewhere. But as I scrolled along, and I saw it, I went, hey, that's one of Chris Leslie's ones. Obviously, the name at that point, when he posted that, meant nothing to me. Right? And even though he had the thing, you know, he even, like, tagged Chris Leslie's page, like, his website. I didn't really go and have a look. Or if I did, I don't remember, like, it chiming with me at all, right? I will get to my point. Because this time I went, hey, that's not even Tory Glen Flats. or maybe I'm not actually initially, sorry, I tell a lie. Initially, I'm getting ahead of myself. Cart before the horse. Sorry, this might spoil it a little. I looked going, hey, that's one of Chris Leslie's. What? Chris Leslie took pictures of the Tory Glen Flats? And then I went, okay, I'm going to go and have a look at his website. And then I go to his website, and then I see a thing that says the Saracen Bar. And I'm going, what? The Saracen... What? This... I'm sure... And then I'm going, no, I know there's another... And then I was getting confused because I'm going, there's a pub called the Saracen, isn't there? And I'm going, no. I'm going, that looks more like the one up the road. And I'm going, is there a Saracen Bar? Am I confusing it with the Saracen? Right, let's take a look at this picture. And then I'm looking at it going, that's not giving me any more info. And then I look at the a photo adjacent to it, which still has the Saracen Bar there in view, and then the street. And I'm like, okay, now that is looking like Saracen Street. This is looking like Postle Park. I'm sure that is as in the Saracen Bar on Saracen Street down in Postle Park. And yes, it is. And then I'm looking at, like, other pictures in amongst this bit in the gallery of I keep on going to call him Chris Lilly because there's a there's a comedian, there's a guy, the guy who does those rather, you know, lowest common denominator, it has to be said, comedy, like sketch, like mockumentary things, Oz ones, and he's called Chris Lilly. So I keep on tripping and going Chris Lilly rather than Chris Leslie. I mean Chris Leslie. If I ever say Chris Lilly, I mean Chris Leslie. In amongst the rest of in that part of the gallery of the site was then all that vacant area at the top on the other side. And probably not even, you know, no one else is going to notice unless by some miracle they're local. The other side of Saracen Street, where all the, I mean, it's the stuff that is, I don't know what it's, it must, I'm assuming there must have been, it can't be though. I was going to say, and I'm assuming there must have been where I'm leaning to. But it's not. I don't know why it's abandoned. What's fake in there? As far as I know, it's still meant to be. But that doesn't seem like it would be right. Sorry, in my head I'm going. That still seems like it's part of the hospital, like part of. I still don't know whether I'm saying it right. All after all this time, I don't know whether it is Ruchil or Raquel or whatever hell it's meant to be pronounced. I have no idea, and I've never heard anyone pronounce it to know otherwise. I mean, I've only known in the past, like, how long now? 5 weeks, 6 weeks, how to pronounce Kepakil, for fuck's sake. I've been pronouncing it as Kapochul for so long. um, I think it is what is left abandoned from the hospital site, I think. But I'm not sure because, you know, you got the park. The park seems like so far up that way, but I don't know, the hospital grounds must have been huge. I think it is. Someone tell me I'm wrong. I don't know. Who's gonna be watching this on my blog, for fuck's sake? I don't know. The 3 people that do. But most of them are Southsiders. They don't know. um, so, and yeah, and I'm looking and I'm going, God, that's Postle Park. And then there's like pictures and I'm going, that's the abandoned part, like all that stuff behind there. And there's that community garden thing. And there's pictures of Sight Hill. And the like, the, you know, I mean, he's been down there like a year ago, if that, taking photos of like this stuff, because he has like what is the regeneration of Sight Hill, where all the redevelopment's happening. You know, the moving of I don't know whether that's part of the picture. I think it might be like the moving of the St. Rollix Church and everything, like it's all, and I'm like, and then so in my head I'm going like, did I say something like you know, this is just really like crazy, like coincidental. how do we get to what? I love this kind of thing where it's just like, this is the stuff where I just go a bit like I know, I'm an idiot. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed really weird. Just how it all just like, and him saying about mentioning Queen Bitch and the lines and the up on the 11th floor, because every time that played, like it was like, I don't know, I can't remember how long ago it was when he mentioned or how far back in my fandom that he mentioned that it was the 11th floor that they lived in, lived on, on, I don't know. Oh god, it's like capital city, isn't it? Should you say in, on, I don't know. And from that point on, every time I played Queen Bitch, I would hear the I'm up on the 11th floor and I'm watching the cruises below, and I would just have this image, you know. And he mentioned that in that post. He mentioned Queen Bitch, and being on the 11th floor and so yeah, and it all just like right. Another point is Virginia took photos from like whatever it was, 1978, I think it was. She was up here in Glasgow and she took photos around the place, like just, editorial stuff. She has an editorial archive and not just a rock music archive, so she has all these pictures, and there were photos of flats that she's taken, and she doesn't remember where she was and where these things were. She would put the things up on Facebook and go, I'm not sure where this is. Anyone knows where they are. Enlighten me. And one of the most recent ones she shared was like a row of flats, and a guy got back to someone local and said, they're the Red Road flats. And I'm going, Red Road flats? Where the hell are they? Friggin' Springburn. Or near-ish to Springburn, and I'm just sort of going like, oh my god, like, just, it's all just, and this Chris Leslie had pictures of, and that's what they are, but those flats, those flats that Jim shared, that I thought were probably Tory Glen flats that had been demolished, I was none the wiser, were the Red Road flats. And so my brain is just like going like, all this like local stuff, or just, it all just circles round. Like, it just amazing how things just connect up. And yes, my tiny brain was being a little bit kind of like this afternoon, this evening, so one seeing that and then watching the interview and hearing Ramon talk about the time he had here, and just how Glasgow, and more so the people, and even more so the kids, were an incredible photographic subject, but also incredibly open to being photographic subjects for him. Other places he'd been, I mean, the way he talked, it was crazy. Like, he had commissions and work that took him to Africa, so he'd done a lot of stuff in Africa, and then prior to coming to Glasgow, he was in Beirut doing stuff, and just talked about how different things were, how different the weather was, how different people were, just to how, that they seem to feel very confronted by him wanting to photograph them in Beirut, whereas here in Glasgow, people were happy and welcoming, and the kids were like great, and he was talking like almost like the kids kind of took him under their wing, and just, you know, spoke to him and were enthusiastic as subjects, like to just, you know, it was just amazing, like hearing him talk in that way. Um, I was going to say something else then. Can't remember what it was. I hate that when that happens. But as he was coming towards the end of the interview, he goes, I would like to give my photographs to a museum, to a museum in Glasgow. I want my photographs to go to a museum. And talking to the people who were conducting the interview, going, you have to tell me where which museum I should offer them to. Just such a lovely thing. Oh, that was it. The one thing, because he had the book in front of him and he was like doing things every now and again where he was going, oh, this one. And holding up the book and like referencing the photos that he'd taken. It was so sweet. And so there's a picture he took of this man, and this man has like an eye patch. The man looks quite, you know, I think he probably was, yeah, bit of a kind of milky type, you know what I'm saying? He said that this guy was the only person that was aggressive to him. He took the picture because he usually would take the photo without asking, because he felt like once he asked for people's permission, then they would act to the lens. So he would like to try and, you know, like almost like shoot first, ask questions later, like just to get the natural out of it rather than ask first and then you have the natural taken away. That's what he felt anyway, that's what happened if he asked people's permission first and then took photos of people the just kind of the unexpected natural elements were lost. So he did that with the subjects that he took up here as well. I mean, he said he took photos of the kids first and then they would talk to him and stuff, and he would take pictures again, and they felt like they were kind of quite staged after that. This man, he took the photo of the man, and the man obviously wasn't happy about it because he came up and punched him in the face for taking the photo. But he said that was the only person out of the people who he photographed that really had a gripe about having his photo taken. Yeah, so that was just me just sort of going like, wow, so Chris, Leslie has documented all around here. Well, I say here, you know, North Glasgow, the general vicinity of the area that I feel is my patch kind of thing. I mean, I look at stuff from, say, I look at all the kind of area around here. So you got, say, Milton behind us, and Postle Park's over that way, and Springburn's down that way, and You've got, well, the West End ahead. um, and so like Mary Hill kind of over that way as well. Um, I think if I've got my bearings right, which I probably don't. So actually, either you got Springburns and Rollocks over that way, Side Hill as well, and it all feels like that's all the local stuff. Hamilton Hill down that way as well. So it's all kind of, that's, to me, that's all on my local patch, and I suppose a bit beyond for that way. Moving on, it doesn't feel like it's that way, but it must be that way because Springburn's that way, and then yeah, so Bishop Briggs. So it's all kind of, you know. I mean, Bishop Briggs is a little bit beyond. Actually, you would go in that direction to get the Bishop Briggs, so it's probably that way. Yeah. So that all feels like my local stuff. It's the, although it's North Glasgow, and North Glasgow and then kind of a bit of the West End. Yeah, I suppose, because you go down that way in, but you got like Woodside, St George's Cross. I mean, almost tentatively like that north bit of the city, Cowcaddens, getting you into the north of the city. I mean, it still blows my mind, like, that I can walk down that way and, well, I can walk down that way probably in 20 minutes if I walk fast. I can get to Cowcaddens or St George's Cross, half an hour really, and then it's just, you know, just on the subway and a few stops down the line. Kelvin Bridge or Hillhead, you're in the West End proper. Rather than the edge of the West End, you try to pretend you're in the West End because you're on the Great Western Road, but you're still not quite there. Yeah, it's just, I mean, that's one positive of lockdown that I'll take. One positive lockdown, COVID, this food, goddamn fucking, I'm sorry, but I'm really gonna swear like a trooper now. The fucking shit, the fuck here that we've had, that it really has had me learn my local patch and kind of know my bearings fairly well around this part of Glasgow, at least anyway. I don't think, oh god, that was really pretty. Sorry, there's still fireworks going off. As you might be able to tell, it's kind of quieting down a little bit. Where are we at? Just after 9 o'clock, so I'm guessing all the kiddies are going to bed now. So things is quietening down a little bit, but there is still some going off. Yeah, so I take the small mercy of like that going on, that kind of, had it not, I probably would still be doing the thing of like just going into the city on the train and not really looked around here and not really got myself knowing anywhere particularly that well. I mean, okay, I have set things still. So it's a set thing of like that Springburn down there, and I know how to walk down to to Springburn High Street to the shopping centre. What? Yeah, that's right. What was I gonna say? What did I think I was gonna say? I think I was gonna say shopping centre. I know. Why do we do those spoonerisms? It's really weird. Our brains are weird. And then learning from that you know, you walk down that bit. Just from getting the haircut, see? the From there and going to the train station, just beyond that, and walking down the road a bit, down back on along the A803, you get to some relics. And then on the other side of that is Side Hill, and then you walk along that way, and you're back to Kepper Hill Road, and back up this way, and down that way, or like it's Balmoral Road in one direction, it's Harrison Street in the other direction, so it's Postle Park that way, and it's, I still guess, Park House that way. Kind of bordering up onto Lamel and Milton, and yeah, I'm just getting the bearings and knowing it, and knowing also that way down that direction, it's, well, that's taking you down to Saracen Street, actually, down along that way. Well, is eventually that way. And Hamilton Hill and the canal. You can either go Applecross and over, and then that will take you down to Gaskew Road, which will then either take you eventually to Maryhill, or take you down to St George's Cross, or if you go the other part of the canal, so you keep on walking down Saracen Street, which becomes, and I never remember what it is. I never remember what it becomes. I think it's Craighall. Road. Then you end up at the sort of like Rockville Spears Wharf end, and you can go down the little thing wing and the underpass of the M8, and you're at Cowcaddens. Yeah, and then even a little bit beyond that, you don't want to get on the subway. You walk past Cowcaddens and on. You're in Cambridge Street, and you're at the top end of the city. And Sausage Hole Street. And the Buchanan Galleries, and yeah, amazing. I'm so glad I've learned all of that kind of thing over these past, I don't know, like 6 months, 8 months. Yeah, it's good to know. I mean, I didn't think that I would get to know it so quickly, because I tell you what, after 20 years of living in Luton, I probably didn't know Luton that well. I mean, you know, conversely, ask me something about the south side and I'd be like, I wouldn't know it that well. I kind of know areas of the south side. I know names. I don't know where the things are. the incredible long journey home on the number 90 bus helped a few weeks back. Bloody hell, there's some fireworks going off over there. Colourful ones too. Very nice. Sorry. Anyway, I should probably stop waffling. I enjoyed watching the interview, and I just then wanted to talk about the pictures and Chris Leslie's pictures, and that it was local, and just how it feels like such a small world. And that some dude from the south side had been linking to pictures that were actually taken around my patch, man. I wonder when the last time was he ventured north of the city limits. I wonder when the last time he actually, ventured into Postle Park, if he ever has. I'd love to know. I would love to know. Did he ever get with a North Glasgow girl? I can't even see that there's a divide between the teams here, because like our neighbour directly opposite us, like on this side, is a Rangers fan. But then the people over here, like on the opposite side of the road, not the people in the house there, but the next one, I think, they're obviously Celtic fans because they have a kid that's like always dressed up in Celtic gear. So there's no, I mean, I thought maybe it would be a slight like north-south thing as well, but I suppose that doesn't make sense, does it? Because both Ibrox and Celtic Park are both on the south side, so that wouldn't make sense. Yeah, I don't know. Nobody, I don't know. Just that's a weird thing. That's a weird thing, right? Why? Why is Partick Thistle's home ground here? I mean, when I say here, I mean it literally is just up the road. You know how I show you the view outside my window when we see the park and the water tower. I feel reluctant to keep on calling it Ritual because I'm sure it's fucking wrong. But I don't know what's right. I don't know how to actually pronounce it. But up there, just up there, just beyond that, on Furriel Road is Furriel Stadium, and that's where Partick Thistle's ground is. We're nowhere near Partick. I mean, in relative terms, we're not near Partick. We're as close to, I don't know, I'm probably wrong. I was about to say we're as close to Partick as we are Tory Glen. Let's see. Let's just do the comparison of like mileage. Right, let's see. Well, it tells me, like, before I actually... No, I don't want the station on. And put in Partick, and then it goes, oh, you want Partick Station? No. And then it's showing me, like, the subway. I'm like, no. I'm sure when I looked at it before, it steadfastly is just showing me the station, the subway things, that it said 2.7 miles from here to Partick. Why every time I put in Partick it just goes, there we go, that's what I needed to do. Right, 2.6 miles to Partick from here. I'm guessing. Well, this is going from your location. Look, that's even further than that. 3.1 miles it says from my actual location to Partick. What part of Partick? I don't know where it's going to. It is going to... It's taking me down Dumbarton Road. Oh, that's quite a... There's some Morrison's things. So, okay, we are like right in the heart of Partick. 3.1 miles from here. Alright, let's go Tory Glen. Okay. Partick is closer, but not terribly. Okay, it says it's 5.5 miles to Tory Glen from here, but that's 3 miles to Partick. I mean, is that really local? I mean, if I compare it to where, let's put in Farrell Stadium to Partick. Okay, it is closer, but still 2 miles. I don't know. To me, that sounds far in Glasgow terms, but it's not exactly, down the road. I don't know. I mean, how far is Celtic Park from Tory Glen? I don't know. Not that I'm saying, Celtic is Tory Glen's team. Celtic is anyone in Glasgow who just, has Irish ancestry and happens to like green. I don't know. There are things I still need to learn, obviously. Oh. Anyway, I shall go because I've waffled and we've gone over the 45-minute mark now. And I'm burying my head in the iPad mini again, which I shouldn't do. So, I shall say, sayonara!